morning. Today we will be looking at a literary analysis sample paper, and we will be highlighting text evidence and analysis. Once we are done, you will then go into your pretest over the first betrayal, and you will do the same thing. So first, I'm going to take my blue highlighter, and I'm going to highlight my text evidence. We're going to start with reading the essay. There are many reasons why an author exposes her characters to the reader. In this particular instance, Harper Lee is trying to give the reader a better understanding of the characters, thus giving us a better understanding of the town and how the town functions as we read further into her masterpiece. As we meet the characters, we get a feel for who they are, especially Scout, who freely speaks her mind, which often gets her into trouble. Take the noon meal with Walter Cunningham, for example. Scout inadvertently embarrasses Walter by creating a scene when he drowned his dinner in syrup, causing the reader to feel pathos or sympathy for poor Walter, who immediately puts the pitcher down and quickly put his hands in his lap and ducked his head. What we as the reader learn from this episode is that Scout doesn't understand how company is to be treated, and that Walter is a shy, self-conscious young boy. By the same token, we read, Walter looked as if he'd been raised on fish food, the imagery leading the reader to wonder about the Cunningham family and their dietary affairs. What is this family's place in the town, and how do they help the town function? As we continue to read, we learn they are poor. However, we also learn that Mr. Cunningham is proud, as is his son, and always pays his debts, something we also learn about Walter on the first day of school. It appears that through Lee's use of diction and imagery, we learn quite a bit about the Cunningham family and their place in the town hierarchy. Alright, so first, blue highlighter, we are going to highlight our text evidence. So the first piece of text evidence is in the the second paragraph. You'll notice it's short and that it gets right to the point with what Walter has done. The second piece of text evidence is 2 lines down, and it speaks to the reaction that Walter has. Okay? Our next piece of text evidence is in the third paragraph, and it is Walter looked as if he'd been raised on fish food, and then we have dietary affairs. There are 4 pieces of text evidence. Now what we're going to do is go back in and look at the analysis. So, in the first paragraph, Scout inadvertently embarrasses Walter by creating a scene when he drowned his dinner in syrup, causing the reader, this is what happens, to feel pathos or sympathy for poor Walter, who immediately puts the pitcher down. Okay, so we learn, this is our analysis, what we as the reader learn from this episode is that Scout doesn't understand how company is to be treated, and that Walter is a shy, self-conscious young boy. For our second piece of text evidence, Walter looked as if he'd been raised on fish food and dietary affairs. Our analysis is this. We learn they are poor. We learn that Mr. Cunningham is proud. And then finally, it appears that through Lee's use of diction and imagery, we learn quite a bit about the Cunningham family and their place in the town hierarchy. Now, what I need to point out to you is that as far as analysis goes, you need to be explaining, and I'm going to go up to the top of my page, and I'm going to write analysis, so I want you to do the same, equals how and why. How does the author incorporate it, and why? Now, the text evidence in this essay is fine, but the analysis is a little lacking. Down here, we could totally explain on this. So this, we would explain more, because we've barely touched on the how or the why. What do we learn? Why is it important that we learn that? Okay, what is that going to do for us later as far as our understanding of the book is concerned? Here in the second paragraph, Again, there's more analysis, but what else do we need to know about Scout and Walter? Why is it important that Walter is shy? So again, we want to explain more here. So follow me as I make some arrows. I'm going to go down here to the bottom of my page from here. And we're going to write, why is it important that we know this information about Scout and Walter. Now that we know what we need to add, your task is to go into your pretest essay. Highlight your text evidence blue, your analysis orange. Then, once you have done that, find out what you can do to make your analysis better. And then you're going to add that information in on the back of your essay, and you'll tell me where it goes. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please ask.